strong.
This is so funny. Hi, this is Funny Minds, and I'm your host, Lynn B., and my co-host is
Edward Biss. How are you?
Edward Biss, and we are now today with Stephen Joseph. Stephen is a lawyer. He's an award-winning author. He runs marathons. He's been in Boston. I'm thrilled. I love Boston. Oh, look at him. He's like, big deal. He's got a great series, and he's a good speaker. And he is the son of a Holocaust survivor. So I mean, like, you've got so much to talk to us about, Stephen. And I don't know where you want to start. I know where I'd like you to start, but I'm going to leave it up to you to just, give us your lowdown.
Well, I happen to be a cranky expert, so I just released Cranky Superpowers Life Lessons Learned from Common Crankosaurus Chronicles, and it's a follow-up to a grown-up guide to effective crankiness, the Crankosaurus method. So I know a little bit about crankiness.
I've met a lot of crankiness in my time too.
Yeah, so that's my expertise, and I like to say it's partly because I'm a lawyer, and for those people don't know what law school is like, what you learn in law school, I explain to them the first year you learn how to get on people's nerves, and then once you get that right, you learn the second year you learn how to rub people the wrong way.
Okay.
Third year you learn how to get underneath people's skin. So when you could do all three at the same time, you're a lawyer. So, and then I surround myself. I've been a lawyer for 37 years.
Wow. Okay.
So I've been around these kind of people for a long, long time, and then I get a little crazy.
Stephen, I'm sorry, but people up in Boston don't break the law. I don't know how you have a job.
No, he doesn't live in Boston.
I don't live in Boston.
No, he doesn't live in Boston.
Where are you at now?
Marathon. I'm in Hoboken, New Jersey.
Whoa,
They definitely don't break the law there.
In the senator, whoever he is, he's in all kinds of trouble.
No, we know Hoboken well. We're New Jerseyites.
Yeah, we're Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm up in Morris County, so but
okay.
Ed left. That's my son. Eddie's.
I got smart. I got out of there and I came to Tampa, Florida. I've been here 23 years.
Wow.
Stephen, and I love every day of it.
And I'm still a Jersey girl. So there you go. So what type of law do you practice, Steve?
I manage litigation and I do negotiation for insurance companies. So I manage lawyers around the country, and it was great when I was young because I would learn things from people. But now I'm too smart, and then my eyes keep blowing out my head, and again I get cranky. So
And you get cranky. Do you? You get cranky?
yeah.
So that's why you are an award-winning author, because you know what cranky is?
That's right. I know what cranky is. So I figured it out.
I got to hand it to you, Stephen. I was reading, your bio and everything, and when I went through your history of cranky, to me it's brilliant on so many levels, and so many people can identify with it.
A lot of people can identify
in so many different ways, especially these days. I know every generation we say the same thing, but it really is almost like a healing mechanism. It's comedy, it's relevant, but it's a healing mechanism, and it really can assist in getting your head right and keeping a sense of humor about everything.
Yeah, that's what I try to do, and I call it. The funny thing is, I talk about embracing our crank, not trying to get rid of it, and that's what got me on this road to writing about crankiness, my first book was a children's book called The Last Surviving Dinosaur, the Tyrannosaurus. I use the word
No, I see that. I was like, that's
it's
so
the English word for problems. And in my household, people, relatives say, "Oh, if I had Worksaurus, I'd be doing cartwheels. No one could outdo my Saurus." And of course, it's like these 67-year-old women who talk about doing these cartwheels, but they talk about cartwheels, and it's a story about the smallest, tiniest dinosaur on the planet, who kept cranking out her Saurus till all the other dinosaurs disappeared, and how humans evolved from the smallest dinosaur. And somebody wrote, "Oh, he didn't talk enough about overcoming your crankiness," and it was all about embracing our crankiness. So I started writing about crankiness, and it's amazing. You're like, I think I'm done, and then it's something else. So, and I call it the common crankiness, where, you talk about a common cold, you have like 1 or 2 in a year. So it's common crankiness, you get 3 to 4 in the morning alone. So, because it's that common, and giving it a name, it feels okay. So, like my first book, I always Steve parents, and I'm a parent myself. My daughter's old and but we always talk about use your words. You don't act out. Use your words. So you have little kids saying, "I'm angry. I'm angry. I'm angry. I'm angry." And that's so good. You use little words. I think you're a very angry person, but it's good to use the words. And by giving it a name, I've become a quite good source that we all have. You're just this sweet, lovable kid, a little bit cranky, and it's okay.
It's okay.
And then just you can act out on it. And how to, deal with people, like I talk about in my book, where, you go to see your American grandmother, you walk over someone's house, and "Stevie, take off your shoes. I paid $25 for this rug. I don't want to get the rug dirty." And you take off your shoes, but then we put all the schmutz with our mouth on stuff. So to understand that, just because we are cranky, then we could be more effective. So like
right.
we have more empathy with each other, and we know how to treat each other better, and it's okay to be cranky. So in my Cranky Superpowers book, I talk about relationships, where I have a rule with my wife that we're allowed to be 5% insane, 20% crazy, but we have to be 75% normal. And you might think, well, that's insane. I do the math, 365 days a year. That's like 73 days of crazy. I don't know if I can handle 73 days of crazy, but it's really counterintuitive, because I told you, you're only getting 0% crazy when you do become crazy, and we all become crazy. You can't admit to being crazy. You have to say, "I'm not crazy. You're the one who's really crazy." And that makes me crazy. Who likes to be told they're crazy by a crazy person? Sure, then I think you're insane. And then we get into this big, crazy, insane argument, and we end up both being insane.
It's like a catch 44, not even a 22. It's
and then you become cranky. Yeah.
And you become cranky. So by giving permission to be 25% insane and crazy, you end up only using like 1 or 2%. By saying you're not allowed, you end up using like 50 or 60%. So again, it's how to work these things out.
Well, honestly, it makes a lot of sense. I wish more people would take the time to really take it in, think about it, and utilize it for the truth that it is. Because if you're going to survive in this lifetime, whether it be alone or with somebody else,
you got to have those kind of moments.
These are the ratios, and they're undisputable. And it's really how you deal with them that get you through. And there is no doing away with cranky. There just isn't. You nailed it. You nailed it.
Yeah. You don't get enough sleep. You ate something that upsets your stomach.
It's just as human nature. You can't erase it. You can't minimize it.
People do get cranky.
But you can make people aware.
Yes.
Be aware of your state of mind.
Yes.
Get the fact that you're cranky. Maybe have a sense of humor about it.
Yeah, really.
and try to get past it. You know, easier said than done, obviously.
My grandson gets cranky, I just walk away from him. I just, I'll do something else. I just really ignore his bad behavior. And, he'll sit there, with the face on and the whole 9 yards. And then I guess he thinks about it and he's like, well, Shanae's not going to pay attention to me. And then I have to sit here. So I better behave myself. And then I'll hear, oh, Shanae, can I have a treat? Then all of a sudden he's not cranky anymore. And he's fine. And he wants a treat. And he wants to do this. And he wants to do that.
It's situational.
I just don't pay any attention to it.
But actual adults have everyday grind, everyday stress, marriages, relationships, work, everything.
Yeah.
Just general insanity in the world today. Yeah, you have social media shoved up your butt every second. It's just insanity. So yeah, crankiness is definitely there now more than ever. And
I've talked about in my first book, in the Grown Up Guide to Effective Crankiness, I have a chapter called Crankosaurus Kryptonite. And actually a chapter called Crankosaurus Doctor, where we have to diagnose each other's crankiness. Oh, yeah, that's where she is. That's where I'm at, wherever. And Crankosaurus Kryptonite says, hey, we all have our kryptonite. And that's like, you go to your relative for Thanksgiving dinner, and somebody knows how to press that button.
Yeah.
And that's your kryptonite. But like, I know my wife's kryptonite. I just know what it is. And
oh God,
the thing about it is, like, acknowledging even Superman had a kryptonite. He had a problem with kryptonite. Like Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen say, "Oh, geez, it's Superman guy. We have to get rid of him." Yeah, the kryptonite. They stuck with Superman. They didn't say, "Oh, let's find another superhero."
Yeah. That's a cool analogy. I like that.
True, but it's true.
But I like that you put your books like in the cartoonish type of form, with the animals and with the dinosaur and stuff like that, because kids love dinosaurs, but adults love dinosaurs too. So you got to make things simple for people, because
it has to relate. It has to be enjoyable.
Yeah.
Swallow, make people think, make children think, make adults think,
Right.
In your own way. And I think you've captured a killer way to do it.
I think it's adorable. I think it's absolutely adorable. I like that little dinosaur. Yes,
it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. In my latest book, I have a lot of stories, and they have teaching lessons in there. So I redo Cinderella, where the prince, he was turned into a frog. He kissed Snow White. He actually ate a fly on Snow White's lips and turned back to a prince. And they started dating. Do you know that Snow White was living with 7 little men? So
yeah, she had some stuff going
on there.
She had, and a very small square footage.
Yes. So they broke up. He broke up with her, and then you had this ball, and he was having an online chatting thing with Cinderella. So Cinderella ends up getting a megaphone. She orders the fairy godmother online, but fairy godmother comes and she doesn't get the carriage, the beautiful dress, but she gets a megaphone. And it's like discovering her voice. That was, again, her cranky superpower. And she does that. I redo The Wizard of Oz. Retell the story. It's called Spinning Your Wheel Crankatosaurus, where the wizard keeps spinning their wheel. Like, here's a piece of paper, it's like, here's a plastic clock, and they get pissed off. And
that's great. That's fantastic.
You must have taken a lot
about you. When I was a little kid, my mother always told me not to go in the hot air balloon strangers. And here's this old man. Hey, I could take you on Dorothy. I could take you on this hot air balloon that I haven't flown in like forever. But don't worry. It's like crazy. So finally, the lion gets to eat the wizard.
Oh, jeez. Okay. I don't know what kind of drugs that you take when you write these books, but they're pretty thin.
It's a lot of fun.
No,
I think about that myself. Like,
Stephen, my mother doesn't understand.
Yes, I do.
No.
I get it.
She's actually a child of the 60s, but didn't do drugs.
Yeah, that's true.
And she gave birth to a musician. And I'm not a drug addict. So it's easy to sit back when you hear this insanity, which is actually genius.
It is.
And say, what drugs are you on? But in actuality, it's phenomenal.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It really takes a lot of
a very special mind.
A lot of passion. You have passion for it.
Right.
And you're able to tell a story and keep people interested. And that's phenomenal.
And you're doing it in a modern version of the world. Yeah, the way the world is today,
and it's so relatable to everybody.
That's just it.
Everybody.
So I have just again another example where I take stories or whatever, I create stories. So I have Mr. Spock. So I set up a story where I went to a yard sale and I found some classified documents. Some of these classified documents from the 1960s. And they had all these, from like stories from Star Trek that they actually were true. It wasn't just a TV show. They came from the future, and they want to tell the government all this information.
Okay.
So to say that one of the most interesting things was the interview with Mr. Spock, the interview with Captain Kirk for the first officer job, and Captain Kirk. He asked Mr. Spock, will you give me your word that you'll be loyal and trustworthy and, do all the good things? And Mr. Spock says, I can't give you my word. I will be trustworthy, but in all that stuff, I can't give you my word. And Captain Kirk doesn't understand. He said, I've interviewed 20 other people. They all tell me they'll give me their word. So Mr. Spock explained that on the planet Vulcan, there was this leader who, first he said, like, we'll declare war on the planet Romulus.
I think it was Romulus.
It's Romulus. And the Romulans, they look like Vulcans. They'll greet us as liberators. I give you my word. And every year, this leader kept saying, I give you my word. I give you my word. But if you can imagine, if you always give your word, after a while, you have no words left. So all the people gave their words. They can't communicate anymore. So the elders of Vulcan, the planet Vulcan, realized that only people who kept their word but didn't give their word were still able to communicate. So they made a law, especially for politicians, that anybody who gives their word is punishable by death.
Okay.
But again,
wouldn't that be amazing?
You really?
Oh my God!
Bodies in this world.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's funny. I go running and I think, wow, if we giving our word but never keep our words, and wouldn't it be interesting if we couldn't speak anymore, if we couldn't communicate. And again, keeping your word, again, that's like a superpower. And distinguish. But right, again, it's a teaching lesson that if you always keep your word, you're reliable, and people count on you.
Right.
And so again, it's like having fun with that in different sort of ways. I redid the story of, I'm Jewish, so I had to do the story of the Jewish people leaving Egypt. They were slaves in Egypt, and they leave to go to the land of milk and honey. And there was this brochure from Moses and company to be forewarned, while we hope for the best, we will only have prepared for the worst. So they keep going, so they get to, for example, they get to the Red Sea. Where's the cruise ship? I only came for the cruise ship, just like you wouldn't lead us right to the Red Sea without a cruise ship. You've been Uncle Noah. He had like a zoo on his cruise ship. And Moses says, while we hope for the best, we only prepared for the worst. So. And of course, then they go to Mount Sinai, and there's this golden calf, and everybody who played with the golden calf got COVID 10,000 BC. So when Moses came down, do you have a vaccine? There's no vaccine. Well, we hope for the best. We only prepared for the worst. So and they were going around in the desert for 40 years. And it was going in circles and circles and circles. And one of the only foods they had was borscht. And they realized that if they left the borscht behind them, they would know where they came from. They wouldn't have to go in circles continuously. And that line in the sand became famously known as the borscht belt.
Oh, wow. Borscht belt?
Oh, borscht belt. Yes. So if you want to know where that line, the borscht belt.
Oh my God, it's great.
That's funny. You're a funny man. You're a very funny man. But I love the way your mind works. It's incredible. You have a beautiful mind.
It's a breath of fresh air. Yeah. I'll tell you.
Really,
oh my God.
Really. I mean, I love your play on words and your concept of how you look at things in your stories. It's really pretty good. I like that a lot.
It says a lot for a crankosaurus.
I know.
You're obviously you're the OG.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
A lot of DOG?
No, the OG, old gal.
The OG.
Old guy.
Oh.
No, that's what they refer to the top person.
The original gangster.
Oh, God, that's funny.
I'm waiting for his wife to pop out and go, oh, no, it's way worse.
So have you lived in Hoboken all your life? That's been your...
No, I grew up in the Bronx.
Oh, the Bronx.
Wow.
The Bronx bomber.
The Bronx.
The Bronx. Okay.
Yeah, so the Bronx grow up. The funny thing, it's amazing. I wrote a blog I called Bad Day Crankosaurus. And you think about it, I grew up, started going to baseball games in the late 60s, early 70s. And they used to have Bat Day at Yankee Stadium, basically handing out 60,000 weapons, and half of them were inebriated. And nowadays, you can't bring a bottle of water. If they check their bags for a bottle of water, you can't bring anything. But back then, hey, here's a bat.
Here's 13 beers and a bat. Go crazy.
That's funny. That is funny. When you think
true.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true. Right. You think about it. And it's funny, Stephen, that you even mentioned that, because the other day I was talking to somebody and brought up of the fact that there was a time when there was smoking on airplanes, But the funnier part of it is there was a smoking section.
Yeah,
like
that,
in the casino.
To me, that's what makes it the. It's like, oh my God.
I know.
Really, they were like, no, this is it. This is, the smoke doesn't come past.
Yeah, I know. They do it in the casinos too. They have the smoking section, but you can smell it all over the place. It's just it's gruesome. You want to go to the casino, and it's like you got to plug your ears and your nose, and but yeah, you're right. I smoked on a plane. I did.
But listen, you smoked in the car with us as children with the windows rolled up. You were that person.
Yeah, I was that person.
She was that Stephen. She was that person. She was that person.
But we didn't know.
I had lung cancer at 11 and a
Did
half.
not, you liar.
11 and a half. Diagnosed. Oh, yeah. I had eyebrow cancer when I was 12. It was horrible.
My father, that's funny. My father smoked. My father would wake up early in the morning to smoke. He would be in the kitchen, dining room area, and you'd open up the window, and he would stick his head out and smoke. My mother was in the bedroom. He would sleep in. He would come running out screaming. I could smell it in my lung. I feel it in my lungs. And my father, of course, I didn't smoke. Just like, it's like you wonder how, like, even his smoking outside the window. And my mother never pushed him out the window. We were up on the 13th floor, but my mother was tempted sometimes. But she could 5 rooms down.
She could still smell it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't smoke anymore, and it's funny, but I'll be standing like in a store or something. Somebody comes in, and they just had a cigarette, and you just like you try. You don't want to like hurt their feelings, so to speak. But in all honesty, it's like you start taking these little steps away from the person because, like when I first stopped smoking and this happened, I called everybody. I'm like, I'm so sorry that I smelled. I didn't realize how bad I smelled, because when you smoke, you don't smell it. But when you stop smoking, you smell it and it's horrible. It's horrible, But I didn't, I did what I did. And I'm not sorry for it. I did it.
Stephen, now she just eats medicinal chocolate. And it doesn't smell at all.
I don't even do that.
And incredibly enough, we didn't know this, but she actually is a very good artist.
Wow.
Yeah. She eats chocolate and she paints like cat faces, and it's awesome.
Don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. I'll give you ideas for something else.
Come on, you got purple hair, whatever.
I know I have purple hair, and I do my thing. So Stephen,
what?
Who was the Holocaust survivor? Was it your mother and father? Was it just your father, just your mother?
My mother was the Holocaust survivor. Both my mom,
your mom,
your father was from Bergen-Belsen. My father came from Bucharest, but he went. He actually struggled himself to Palestine before like there was 46 or 45. And
so he kind of skirted it.
Yeah, he kind of like my father would tell me that if your father was a World War I hero, they didn't bother you or remain. So so my father had some protection, but he then left for Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
And then he actually lived in Israel until 59. He worked for this shipping company called Zim Shipping Company. He was at New York Harbor. Mm-hmm. He's on this blind date with my mother. He buys my mother a cup of coffee, and he asks her to marry him. So she said yes. For hard-hearted, you open up the door and you get a cup of coffee, 5 cents, and they were married for like
how many?
Incredible.
About 60 years.
Wow,
that's awesome.
That's great.
That is incredible.
That's
And
a great story.
anybody who was able to make it out of
In the
that.
beginning, there were a lot of people because the owner of my company, his father owned a big manufacturing company in Germany, and they took the house. It was a big, huge house. They took the house. I think there was 5 of them. He had 2 sisters and 2 brothers. They took the father. They took the house. They took the manufacturing company, and the mother sent him to America, and everybody went somewhere, and she went to Austria, and then the brother paid them to get the father back, and they, even though they took everything that they had, they made a deal to pay to get their father back, and they did release him. But then, like he said, a few months later, there was no getting out of there. There was no, you weren't going to gain your freedom in any way, shape, or form. So they were kind of lucky to have gotten out of there. And even though they were in different parts of the world, they would come together. And then when I think he was almost 90, Edgar, the village sent him an invitation, and his daughter took him there to apologize to them for what went on and what the Nazis did. Yeah, it was incredible. He came back with this beautiful plaque. His home was still standing, not the manufacturing plant, but the home was still there, and the people that lived in it let them come in so that, he could see the home. And he said, there was a lot of changes and stuff, but he was in such awe of the fact that, that they extended this invitation and the apology, and, that he in his lifetime could go over there and be with them and do this. So it was a very touching story. Yeah, very, very touching story. Yeah. Yeah, he was a great man. He really was a great, great man. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's great that your parents were able to survive that, because if they didn't, you wouldn't be around with your crazy mind.
No.
I know. There would be no Crankosaurus.
No.
None at all. We'd have to rely on somebody else's beautiful mind to come up with a Crankosaurus. And you love to train. You love to do marathons. You've done a lot of marathons.
You ever come down here to do the one at Disney in Orlando?
I've done Miami 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did Fort Lauderdale, A1A marathons.
Mhm.
I've done 4 Florida marathons. I've not done the Disney one.
Okay.
Which,
All right.
now I'm making stories to just go down and do all that stuff.
No, I have a buddy of mine who's a comedian up in New Jersey, and he's an attorney as well, and they just make it a thing. It comes out with his wife and his stepdaughter, who's an adult, and they just do like a quick 3-day weekend type of thing. It's not even about so much the Disney. It's more about the marathon.
Marathon.
Go have a good bite to eat and get out of Jersey for a minute,
Well, sometimes he does a gig. Sometimes
every once in a while
comedy.
he'll do a gig.
Have you ever thought of doing stand-up comedy, Steve?
Yeah, no, I actually did this Earth Day thing. I was and this was on Broadway, 47th Street, outdoors. So I performed on Broadway, and so I used some cranky stories, ready to an Earth Day thing. So and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So I did this wedding scene with Seymour and Zelda, and the minister asked Seymour, "Do you take Zelda for better or for worse?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, No. You have to pick which one. You can't do both, better or worse." And Seymour says, "Well, I wasn't picking a beauty queen. I don't want to put pressure on her. She gets very nervous. I'll go with worse." and Zelda goes, oh no, the same question. Well, when I picked Seymour, I was picking from the bottom of the barrel. From the bottom of the barrel, I'll go with better. And then of course Seymour gets all upset. I want better. And Zelda gets a panic attack, and she goes and she starts saying, when we were dating, he would always sing, "Don't go changing, try." I always never want you to work so hard. I love you just the way you are. And he goes, "Can we do both better or worse?" And well, that takes lawyers. You need lawyers for that. What is better? What's considered the worst? What's considered better? Let's say you are worse, but now that
lawyers,
you think you got better, he thinks you got worse, and vice versa. This has to be all negotiated out. It costs thousands and thousands of dollars. So they end up going,
oh, that's great.
a little worse. And then, of course, Zelda goes, "I'm feeling sick already." So they went with it. But the point with that was like bringing Earth in. Like,
oh God, that's funny.
With Earth,
Oh God, you got me crying.
Oh man. You are a piece of work, Steve.
That's
You
awesome.
really are. You're awesome. Yeah, you are awesome.
That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you very much. I'll be here all week.
Thought about that. Problem with stand-up comedy, it's like there's a lot of work. You have to keep going.
It is a lot. It's definitely a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's
It is. Yeah.
it's a lot of repetition and a lot of traveling and a lot of commitment. And from the outside looking in, it's a lot of fun, and you're obviously talented enough to do it.
Oh yeah.
But it is.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
I've done it, and I know it's just it's a lot. It's really something you really gotta really dive into.
There's a new guy that somebody turned me on to, Eddie. You got to watch him too. His name is Matt Riff, Rife, Riff.
Right.
You've got to go on YouTube, and he's hysterical. He's a young kid, and he's so quick with his comebacks and stuff. He really is kind of good.
His name isn't Stephen Joseph. I don't care.
Oh God, Stephen, tell the audience where they can find you.
You could find me like anytime you want to come over for dinner. I'm a very good cook. I'm the best potato
talking about. Let me guess. You make awesome Mexican food.
No. I think I actually have a Crankiness cooking class chapter in my book. So I do talk about. That's like one of my superpowers is cooking. So you're invited to come to Hoboken for dinner. That's one place to find.
God, I can't wait. I was just in Hoboken.
That's
But you can find me at StephenJosephAuthor.com, Stephen Joseph Author on Facebook, on Instagram. And on Instagram, I run 2 hours every morning and like actually do my writing when I'm running. It's I have the things talk when I run.
right.
So take pictures of, I have the along the river, and I have New York City along the way, and sunrise over New York.
That's beautiful.
But StephenJosephAuthor.com, I have a blog, an award-winning blog, and all my books are there as well.
Okay. All right. It's really been a pleasure to talk to you.
Honestly, Stephen,
You're a funny guy.
I
You really are.
I appreciate you coming on, spending time.
And there's also my Snoodles books. I have coming out next year.
Wait. What's the space one? In space?
Snoodles in space, a snoodle, the zoodle, the doodles, and one happy schmoodle. So that's this book. And my next book is Snoodles in Space, Episode 2, The Zoodles Strike Back.
The Doodles Fight Back?
The Doodles Strike Back, yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh my God. That's really, yeah, that is so great.
Hey, if I email you, would you send me a copy?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
Lovecraft?
Yes.
Oh wow, that's insane. That's insane. Yes, that's great,
Much
Steve.
pleasure. Love the family.
It's
Oh, that is so great. Yeah, really. Like, you've been a pleasure to have on the show. I mean, like, you're really a funny guy. Swear to God, you really should do a lot more stand up. Yeah, I really should. You're crazy.
and you got yourself a new purple-haired agent.
I don't know. His wife might but not be too happy about that.
No. You love Korean Habanation. So that's good.
So
Thank you.
we are Funny Minds. You'll find us the video portion on Spotify and YouTube, and we're on all the regular platforms for audio. And we have our website. Go see our website, funnyminds.com. And on the website, you will see a store where we have some crazy stuff. And there are two organizations that we represent, and that's St. Jude's Children's Hospital and Women's Breast Cancer. So there's a big purple button. And, if you're so inclined to make a donation, that would be wonderful. We'd really appreciate it. And Stephen, I don't know what else to say because this has really been a great episode. I saw lawyers are stuffy. I saw, the books, and I said, there's got to be something there because the books just tell a story that's very interesting. So this is going to be a very interesting podcast, and I'm not sad one iota. I mean, like, my stomach hurts from laughing so much. And
honestly, Ma, he's going to be on the list for definitely a follow.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. We have to do a follow.
I'll get back in touch with you in due time and do a follow-up as to what
definitely
coming down the pipe.
Well, I'm really excited about my next book. I just want to do a little plug because and it's great when you have it out there, but you can even then the story just happens. So Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Darling's a good kid, and he's the kind of spoiled kid, so it doesn't turn out so well. So I kind of reverse it and make the spoiled kids kind of like the heroes in the story. It's about like gaming because you think about it, all of the media was there and like cameras. So I had a Frippy Frumpy Poodle and Whippy Wumpy Woodle, and Frippy Frumpy had a Fizzy Wizzy Pop-a-Doodle and Pop, and Whippy Wumpy Woodle has a Swizzly Slimy Doodle. So first he swizzled and twizzled and turned to a bucket of slime. And the chorus was all over the papers. Kids, calling Whippy Wumpy slime.
Far cry from a schnozberry.
Yeah. So, but then they become heroes in the story. So,
okay,
yeah, but that's awesome.
That is awesome. What's the name of
imagination?
What's the name of your new book going to be?
It's Noodles in Space, Episode 2, Zoodle Strike Back.
Fight Back. Okay.
Strike Back, yes.
Okay.
A lot of fun. And
whatever. I'm getting a signed copy, Mom, so whatever.
All right, everybody. I'm so happy that Stephen was able to be with us today, and I'm very happy that all of our fans are going to get to see a great episode. And I have to say to all of you, be happy, smile, be non-judgmental, healthy, and always laugh because laughter is the best medicine. So, Stephen, with that, we're going to say goodbye. And we wish you the best. And,
Thank you for having me.
We will get back to you in about 6 months or so. We'll see, when your book comes out and how you're doing and what's doing. And we'll see you then. In the meantime, be happy.
Stephen, thank you so much. Be well, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.